Hi everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Gadi, co-founder and CEO at BoBo. I'm here to tell you our story and to talk about integrating technology in what we're doing. Let's first talk about one of the biggest challenges in rehabilitation, training. You all know how difficult it can be to get patients to actually follow through with their exercises and to measure their progress over time. Here's a shocking statistic from the US. Only 30% of patients complete their prescribed home exercises. So, after a few years of working as a physical therapist with different groups of patients, I've started to notice that there are three main problems in exercises when it comes to rehabilitation. For some reason, most patients simply don't do them. Why? Well, first of all, it's boring. You explain to your patient how important training is for their recovery. They try to complete the session you give them, but they simply get bored and fail. The second problem is that you can't measure and quantify most of the exercises you assign to your patients. So why is measuring the patient's performance and progress so critical? There are several reasons, and here are two. First one is the ability to establish clear and measurable goals and enabling your patients to monitor the improvement and progress over time. It's a strong motivator. The second reason is the option to adjust and to fine-tune the exercise parameters based on real subjective and objective data increases the overall effectiveness of the program. Now, these two problems I've just mentioned created a third problem. Many exercises require professional guidance. And that's why, because you need to motivate the patient to complete their program because it's usually boring. That's the first reason. Second, you need to measure and monitor your patient exercise performance by looking at the patient. And the third reason is that you need to ensure they are executing the exercise correctly. And eventually translate it into manpower challenges. We don't always have the time for both treatment and training in one session. And that is exactly what we are trying to solve. We invented solutions that integrate games, measurement, and virtual trainer to address these mentioned problems. Our mission is to make rehabilitation fun, engaging, and measurable. We started with one product, and today we have 5 already. We began with clinic-focused solution, and as demand grew, we expanded into home-based rehab solution as well. Today, BoBo is used in over 50 countries worldwide with more than 10,000 clinics and 30,000 home users. Today, in this session, we'll focus on our 2 leading solutions. BoBo Pro 2.0, a versatile rehabilitation tool for balance, motion tracking, and remote monitoring, and BoBo Dice, a revolutionary fine motor and cognitive training system that combines in-hand manipulation, pinch exercises, and reaction-based training. Okay, now we will start with the BoBo Pro 2.0. This is a flat board that you can mount on any balance tool you want, and let's start. The board turns common balance tools into interactive and gamified experience. Here's how it works. You insert the sensor inside the balance board. You open the app and choose Test, Training or Games. Let's start with evaluation. The patient stands on the balance board. You choose the test you want to use, and that's it. The patient needs to stay focused and keep the white ball inside the green circle for 20 seconds. After that, you see the assess and analyze of the balance test. The training section, you can choose one of two options. One is to customize a personalized training session to your patient. Choose the postures and start. And the patient needs to follow the instructions on the screen, and he gets a professional biofeedback. Or you can choose one of our preset protocols that we simply created for you. And the fun part are the games. There are many games, easy games, challenging games. The therapist simply needs to choose a game, choose the level, and the patient starts controlling the game by tilting the balance board and turn workout into a fun and challenging activity. Everything the patient is doing is collected. All the data is collected in the patient dashboard, and you can track the progress. Now let's move to the wearable part. The same sensor that was inside the balance board can be moved out and attached to any part of the body and turn any joint movement into a joystick. The patient controls the app by moving his upper body, lower body. You can test the range of motion of the patient. You can choose from a variety of exercises. Just like we showed you in the balance section, you can create your own exercise program and adjust the parameters, or you can choose one of our preset protocols. Like you see here, simply use one of our predefined protocols and we already programmed the session for you. Then you have to choose if the patient will get a feedback of goniometer or a feedback of a game. You can use different kind of tools while the patient is doing the exercises. And at the end of each session, we ask two quick questions about the pain and about the fatigue to collect also objective data. And here is the report. Everything again is tracked, and you can track the patient progress from one treatment to another. The last part is the cycling. The wearable sensor turns any bike into an interactive platform. And here is how it works. The sensor goes on the thigh, just above the knee. Hip movements are translated into RPM, round per minute. The app includes 3 types of biofeedback. The speedometer, biking around, like go for a hiking, or game. You can track the patient performance and make a few evaluations as well. The balance test includes all the necessary details you need to compare static and dynamic test, and of course right and left foot to see the whole progress or to see each one of the single tests performed. And this is how the range of motion test looks like. You simply attach the sensor to a part of the body, you do a quick calibration, and you ask the patient to perform 1 or 2 movements. Then you just see the range of motion and you can export it into PDF and attach it to the patient file. And we've also added group training option recently to make the training even more motivating and fun, to add competition element to practice. It allows you to have 1 to 4 patients at the same time in the same session, competing each other, which is a great feature that was recently added to BoBo Pro 2.0. So basically our main goal was to create something that physical therapists will actually use on their daily routine, which means it has to be as simple as possible. And here are a few examples how we did it. First of all, as you saw in the clip, we only use one sensor and one software. Think about trying to attach, for example, 4 or 6 sensors to your patients every time you want to train. Well, you'll get a very accurate measurement, but will you keep doing it after 1 month? The second example is the app. We spent thousands of hours on creating a simple to use software, so with 3 or 4 taps on the screen, you can start a session or a test. Also, the therapist interface, the patient interface, and the data that we record, both patient and therapist can easily understand and operate. As you can see on the screen, we always dividing it into 3 sectors. You have the therapist sector, which is where he can create a personalized training program or choose one of our preset programs. We have the patient interface that includes professional biofeedback or a game feedback, and the data that allows you to track the progress and to generate a report in a very easy way. And the third example is related to the rehabilitation concept. We didn't want to invent a new rehabilitation concept like others sometimes do. We are using the same common training we all use anyway. In this case, the balance training tools. So the therapist can continue to use the exercise he is familiar with no need to learn a new method. So basically our software and product simply upgrade the training that you already do in your clinic. So here is a nice case study I like, since it shows very well how the therapist using all 4 principles to adjust the BoBo training to the patients by choosing the right biofeedback, the right posture, the right balance tool, and the level of support. So what you see in the picture is a patient, 87 years old, with late dementia. His situation is bad, he's wearing a diaper most of the day, and he has no reason to get up from his wheelchair. And that's not all. He also had a right hip replacement recently. Martha, his therapist, is trying to encourage weight bearing to his right leg. She is aware that his low functioning level will not allow him to stand on the BoBo, so she is using a bar for support. By placing the healthy foot on the BoBo to control in the game, the patient is shifting his weight to the right leg. So now not only weight bearing is achieved, but the patient is also standing, which is important. He is doing a motor cognitive task, and above all this, the most important is that he is happy.